You finally get the promotion you've been working toward for years, and you immediately start showing up late. You meet someone who genuinely loves you, and you pick fights over nothing. You're on the verge of achieving your dreams, and you suddenly lose all motivation. If this sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're not unlucky. According to Carl Jung, you're doing exactly what your unconscious mind has been programmed to do. And today we're going to understand why your biggest enemy isn't the world around you. It's the part of you that can't believe you deserve good things. Carl Jung understood something that most people never realize. Your conscious mind wants success, but your unconscious mind might be terrified of it. He called this the shadow, the part of yourself you've rejected, the beliefs you've buried, the programming you received before you were old enough to question it. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. But what if what you call bad luck is actually self-sabotage? What if your unconscious mind is protecting you from something it believes is dangerous, even when that something is exactly what you want? Meet Michael. At 29, he's everything he thought he wanted to be, promoted to senior manager, six-figure salary, impressive apartment downtown. But here's the strange part, the closer he gets to real success, the more he seems to fall apart. Last month, he missed 3 important client meetings. He's been picking fights with his supportive girlfriend, Sarah. He's even started drinking more, something he swore he'd never do after watching his father struggle with addiction. Michael doesn't understand why he keeps shooting himself in the foot, but Jung would recognize this pattern immediately. Michael grew up poor. Not just financially poor, but emotionally poor, too. His parents, struggling with their own failures, had a way of cutting down anyone who dreamed too big. Don't get your hopes up, his mother would say. People like us don't get those kinds of opportunities. His father was harsher. You think you're better than us? Whenever Michael showed ambition. By age 10, Michael had learned a devastating lesson. Success equals abandonment. Achievement means you're betraying where you came from. And at the unconscious level, this child is still in charge, still protecting him from the danger of outgrowing his family. Jung discovered that the unconscious doesn't distinguish between physical and psychological survival. To Michael's unconscious mind, success isn't just achievement, it's exile. It's proof that he's become the kind of person his family resented. So every time he gets close to real success, his unconscious activates what Jung called psychological defenses. It creates anxiety, depression, self-destructive behaviors, anything to pull him back to the familiar. Because to the unconscious mind, familiar pain is safer than unfamiliar joy. Better to sabotage yourself than risk the ultimate abandonment, becoming someone your family can't recognize or love. The breakthrough came during a panic attack at work. Michael was about to give the presentation that would secure the biggest client of his career when suddenly he couldn't breathe. But instead of running away this time, something clicked. He realized, I'm not afraid of failing, I'm afraid of succeeding. For the first time, he saw the pattern clearly. Every time something good happened, he found a way to mess it up. Not because he was broken, but because success felt like betrayal. In that moment, Michael finally understood what Jung meant about making the unconscious conscious. You can't fight an enemy you can't see. Take a moment here. Think about your own life. What good things have you sabotaged? What opportunities have you mysteriously lost motivation for right when they were within reach? What success have you achieved only to immediately find a way to diminish it or give it away? Share in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to recognize their own pattern, because awareness is the first step toward freedom. Jung's solution wasn't to eliminate the shadow, but to integrate it. Michael began therapy not to fix himself, but to understand himself. He learned to dialogue with that frightened child inside who equated success with danger. He discovered he could honor his humble beginnings without being imprisoned by them. Most importantly, he realized that true loyalty to his family didn't mean staying small. It meant showing them what was possible. The unconscious mind that once sabotaged him could become his greatest ally, but only when its fears were acknowledged and its protection was no longer needed. 6 months later, Michael's life looked completely different. He gave that presentation and landed the client, but more importantly, he didn't sabotage himself afterward. When his old patterns tried to resurface, the urge to show up late, to pick fights with Sarah, to find reasons why he didn't deserve success, he recognized them as old programming, not truth. He learned to feel the fear without being controlled by it, and surprisingly, as he stopped shrinking himself, his family began to respect rather than resent his growth. They saw that his success didn't make him arrogant, it made him more genuinely himself. Michael's story isn't unique. Jung understood that most people have some version of this unconscious sabotage. Maybe you sabotage relationships because love felt dangerous in your family. Maybe you sabotage your health because you learned that suffering gets attention. Maybe you sabotage your health because you learned that suffering gets attention. But let's be honest, this work isn't a one-time fix. Michael still catches himself falling into old patterns sometimes. The difference is now he recognizes them. Jung called this ongoing process individuation, becoming who you really are rather than who you were programmed to be. It requires constant vigilance, not against the world, but against the unconscious patterns that once protected you, but now limit you. The goal isn't to eliminate your shadow, but to dance with it consciously, to use its protective energy for growth rather than sabotage. So here's what I want you to understand. If you keep sabotaging good things in your life, you're not broken. You're not cursed. You're not doomed to repeat these patterns forever. You're simply being protected by an unconscious mind that learned to associate success with danger. But now that you can see the pattern, you can choose differently. You can honor your past without being imprisoned by it. You can achieve success without betraying your roots. You can finally stop being your own worst enemy and become your own greatest ally. If this resonates with you, if you're ready to stop sabotaging yourself and start supporting yourself, write in the comments, "I choose growth over protection." Let's build a community of people who are done playing small. And if you want to dive deeper into Jung's psychology and the journey of becoming who you really are, subscribe to this channel. Because your unconscious mind has been running the show long enough. It's time for your conscious self to take the wheel.